It is Wednesday, October 1st. Yom Kippur is tomorrow. Just saying. That is the Day of Atonement for the Jewish people. I may get into that a little bit later. But first of all, two things. I can't wait to talk about Pete Hegseth and bringing in 800 generals and laying down the law. I loved it. Now, and real quick, the government shutdown, you know what? I'm in flyover country. Shut the thing down. It is nothing but a big, bloated bureaucracy. And both sides, oh, it's the Republicans, it's the Democrats. I'm sick of it. This happens every so often. Guess what? We don't care. I'm done with that rant. So now, talk about Pete Hegseth. I thought to myself when he said, there will be no more men wearing dresses in the armed services, the Navy. He didn't say armed services. What? You mean to tell me you have to talk to generals to let them know that men should not be wearing dresses in the military? Think about that. This went on for 4 years. Look at Karine Jean-Pierre, Joe Biden's press secretary, a black lesbian. Well, oh, perfect hire, right? Perfect DEI hire. Pete Hegseth blew that out of the water. But can you imagine? So we were in a state of allowing men to wear dresses and tutus on the ships. What in the world? The world is a mess right now, and it is hot. Russia, Ukraine, Iran, North Korea, China, they want to take Taiwan, and they're going to do it. They're telling us they're going to do it. So think about this. So the submarine comes out of the water. And the Marine, or the personnel, sorry, not the Marines, the Navy shipmen come out and they're going to stand on the submarine. And they're in dresses. And you're staring at Kim Jong-un or the crazies in Iran. And Iran throws gays off houses, off roofs. They kill them. What in the world? There was a ship named after some famous, I don't know, gay guy. Gone. That's the only thing they cared about. And then let's go to, do you know that you were paying to have transition surgeries? You were paying to have men's weenies whacked off. Do you know you were paying for that? Or that was, oh, sure. Of course. You're trans. You're going to join the Navy. Oh, boy, now I get to have my surgery. I mean, it was out of control. And then, and let me talk to my women friends about equal rights. I am all for women in the service. If they can meet the same standards that a man can. Because if you're in a foxhole with another soldier and you haven't met the requirements and the standards that a man can, I wouldn't want you in a foxhole with me. I don't want you flying you know who took so much crap about Charlie Kirk? And let me just go here for a minute. He took so much flack because he was talking about race and hiring. So let me propose this to you, okay? Because I'm going to say the same thing. Let's say United Airlines, which is one of them, says that 40% of our pilots will now be women, black, Muslim, trans, whatever, okay? So you know that these people were hired not because they were qualified, but they were hired because they're trans, black, or female. Would you want to fly? Would you want to fly in that plane? I wouldn't. And that's what Charlie Kirk had said. That, okay, so the left comes after him. Bam! Because, oh, Charlie Kirk's a racist. No, it's a statement of fact. Would I rather have a pilot flying my plane because they're competent? Or would I want a pilot flying my plane because they meet your DEI requirements? That's what he said. He took all kinds of hell for that. But back to women and women in the armed services. Pete Hegseth. The end of DEI is finally here. Why would anybody want someone based on their color, their gender? Why would you want that person? It makes no sense to me. Why should you want them over somebody that's qualified, more qualified than you? Hey, listen, girls, if you want to be a lineman, play for the Bengals, we could probably use you right now. But let's say I want to be a lineman in the NFL. Okay, I'm all for it. As long as you can play that line, you can defend that line, I'm all for it. Why do you think there aren't women playing in the NFL? Because we're different. God created us. That's the problem. Is that so many white liberal women, they despise men. They love to brag on the environment, what was that? The Me Too. Ooh, they creep me out, that Me Too movement. The problem is you want to abort your babies, right? That gives you power over life. You want to deny that God created us, not just liberal women, but liberal white women are a problem. God created us, male and female, he created them, right? So the problem is the denial that there is a holy God and that someday we will all be accountable to him. So when you're involved in the abortion movement, the trans deal, the homosexual deal, whatever, and I'm not saying I am any better at all, just covered by Christ's blood, period. But I don't understand how you can be proud of your sin. Except, I shouldn't say I don't understand it, but I believe I know why. Why you're proud. And I've been to a gay pride parade when I was doing radio to report on it. It was a cesspool. So the reason you get involved in the environment, the pro-abortion, the more you sin against your own body, because we were created by God to serve him. He is holy. And you're committing a sin against your own body, that one will eat at you. I've done it. So I'm not saying this in judgment. He's the judge. I'm not. But when you are sinning against your own body, you're going to do whatever you can to quell your conscience, right? So, okay, I'll be involved in, the environment, in the trees, in the oceans. I don't have a problem with, loving the environment and being good stewards of the environment. But you will take on these movements and to see yourself as benevolent because you're protecting the downtrodden or the trans person, or that, here's the other thing. To say that the problem is MAGA, well, this guy was a problem, so I'm not denying that. But why? We're not out there. I'm mad at Trump, too. We're not out there trying to kill gays. Are you kidding me? But you like to believe that you have a common enemy because it makes you feel better. Because you're trying to quell your conscience. It doesn't work because that was given to us by God. So you can do whatever you want to try to deny those feelings, but it's not going to work. So here we go back to, I know I'm all over the place, Charlie Kirk and the trans shooter. And there's been a lot of trans shooters. I didn't know that. So he has a boyfriend. And when I saw his picture, I don't know why Drudge he's gone off the deep end. Oh man, he hates Trump. And let me just say this before I go to the trans shooter. To listen to Trump, was it yesterday? No, it was the day before. And going on and on and on. Hear me. I would vote for Trump again, but that doesn't mean I like him, because I don't. It sickens me the way he brags. I just can't deal with it. I turned him off. I think he was speaking before Pete, right? I don't know. I have a bad memory. Okay, so, the other thing Trump does is, if you have a horse, you know that horses will poop in their own buckets. Trump poops in his own bucket. Okay, back to the trans shooter. So, we find out, here's what I was going to say. Okay, I see his picture on Drudge, the trans shooter's boyfriend, I think. And I look and I'm thinking, what the hell is that? What is that on his head? Well, that looks like is that a cat? What? He's a furry. A what? A furry. I've been living in a cave. What is a furry? So we had some people come in the restaurant, and everybody, they knew about furries. I didn't know. Who ever heard of a furry? I said, well, I'm going to Google it. And they said, don't. I guess it can get pretty perverted. But the world is going crazy. All right, one other thing. Candace Owens. And yay, Pete Hegseth. It's about time we raise warriors instead of men in tutus on a ship. Can't believe that. But anywho, so Candace Owens, she was years ago, because I had to, when I was on air, I don't mean to keep saying that. It's like I was on air. But I followed a lot of news. I had to, and because I am a news junkie, so I really liked her. She was doing Blexit, and she's so smart. And I listened to her, and I have been listening to her about Brigitte Macron in France being a man. So I listened to the whole thing. Candace Owens, without a doubt, is compelling. Having said that, I have listened, and she's talking about bees and beehives and Turning Point USA. She's talking about Bill Ackman in the Hamptons. This letter from Bibi that Charlie Kirk was turning against Israel. And you know what? Simply not true. So I've had to really try to discern. I mean, you go on YouTube, it is a cesspool of, I mean, lies. Does she do it for clicks? I don't know. So I'm trying to like figure out, who do I listen to and trust on the internet? And boy, you have to pray, Lord, give me a discerning mind. So anyway, I loved Erica Kirk's. I listened to about 3 hours of that, and it wasn't a memorial. It was a tent revival. I loved it. Chris Tomlin, Carrie Job, Phil Wickham. It was absolutely awesome. And I had somebody come in the restaurant today and really was ragging on Erica Kirk, and I thought she did a great job. And, to forgive him, the shooter, not able to do that. But anywho, so the craziness continues. Congratulations to Pete Hegseth in making the military what it's supposed to be, a fighting force. And going back to women in sports and Title IX, you can believe all you want that you can do anything a man can do. You can't. That's why you have to change the rules for you. Now, once again, I am all for women in the military, women on the football field, women playing ice hockey with the men, but you better be able to be as good as they are. Otherwise, you don't belong there. You whine about, I'm not making as much money as the men, like the WNBA, or I have a story about the WNBA too, but I won't go there. But the reason you don't make as much money is because you don't bring the money in. You shouldn't be paid as much. So anyway, it looks like the military is, we're going to be back to wearing pants. Men will not be allowed to wear skirts anymore. I can't believe. What in the world? So, what do you think what do you think our enemies are thinking when a soldier comes out in a flippin' tutu? They're going to think you're crazy. That is all changing. All right. I have gone in so many different directions. Have a good day. I'm done. Thanks for listening.